So everyone, it is 1:30. We would like to resume. This is the dialogue session. We have a panelist at the table, and we would like to ask each panelist to make some comments. We go around the table. So first, I would like to explain the rule of the dialogue because it's a quite unique rule that you have to follow. The facilitator asks one question, common question, to every participant, and each participant will answer the question within their allocated time. So we go around the table. There will be no interruption. There will be no questions taken. So just we go around the table asking each participant to answer to that question. So no questions during the answer. And responses to other people's views are okay. However, criticism is not okay, not accepted. It is okay that you take those comments from the panelists positively and then state your ideas. That is okay. However, you are not supposed to be here to criticize others. I can't really show you, somehow I can't really show you the slide, but I would like to explain the next rule. Next slide, please. So when it is your turn to answer to the question, please try to respond in your own words based on your personal situation rather than making a general statement because you using your own words are more helpful to this session. So we have 90 minutes allocated for the panelists. And after a break from 3:30 p.m., we will provide time for the audience to respond to the same question. So audience means those who are sitting in this venue, or it could also be online participants. We ask you to raise your hand if you wish to speak. So please pay close attention to the questions and also to the answer. The facilitator will manage the time. We are not too strict about the time. We are allocating a 5 minute to each participant. It could be 5 minutes and 30 seconds or 4 minutes or 30 seconds. That's okay. But if you speak as long as 8 minutes or 10 minutes, then a facilitator may interrupt you and try to cut your comments. Next page, please. Finally, a tentative summary of today's discussion will be drafted from 4 p.m. The tentative summary will be shared. So as it says, it is tentative. So the tentative summary will be shared with all dialogue participants afterwards for your feedback. And then we will finalize the summary. The final summary will be uploaded onto our website and also be sent to relevant organizations so that they can understand what kind of discussion took place. And this is the time schedule and question. So first question, one, what are the current challenges facing your hometown or the place where you live? How do you think these challenges should be addressed? So each person has 5 minutes to answer. We have 8 panelists today, so it would be total 40 minutes. And after the first round, we will ask the second round. After listening to others' opinions, please share any additional thoughts or considerations you have. In order to overcome the identified challenges, please share your possible options that you can pursue. So that will be the questions. Audience will be given opportunity to answer to those questions as well later on. Next page, please. So this is how we proceed. So we will have time for comments from observers, 5 minutes each by 6 people. Online participants who wish to speak, please use the Q&A function and say that I would like to make a comment. The host will be able to unmute yourself. So please wait for your name to be called before you start talking. We aim for 4:30 to finish. I believe that before 5, there will be a Hitachi Express train that you can take if you need to go back to Tokyo. So that's all from me. Are all panelists okay with this? Can we start the discussion? If no questions, then we would like to start the dialogue. So I would like to repeat the question. First question. What are the current challenges facing your hometown or the place where you live? How do you think these challenges should be addressed? Each person has 5 minutes. Maybe I would ask Sakakibara-san to start, but I would like to first introduce the panelists. So Mr. Hiroshi Sakakibara is from Futaba town. He is a resident of Futaba town. Very nice to meet you, to see you. And Ms. Haruna Tatagi is currently working in Tokyo, but she is native of Iwaki City. Shotaro Abe He's the director of Reef Roots. Sorry, the interpreter is not getting the audio. Audio feed is not clear. Then next, so interpreter is not getting the audio. We have kind of a audio feedback. So first, the next person is Mr. Kunihiro Kono, who has presented, and also next is the Ms. Kaori Nishijima, Director of Nuclear Disaster Research Museum Furusato. She lives in Tomioka town. And next to her is Mr. Norio Kimura. He is the representative of Okuma Future Academy Association. He's from Okuma town. And then next to him is Emi Ishida, Ms. Emi Ishida, JA Fukushiba Sakura Women's Division, and she creates a Daruma doll. And then next person is the Ms. Keiko Washizu. She is from Kawamata Town Regional Revitalization Corporation team involved in the area revitalization project of Yamakiya district. So first, we would like to ask Mr. Sakakibara.
So I'm working so that greater number of the residents could return to the town I'm living. I'm hoping to see greater number of the people to come back. So what I do is actually the work, but this is also my hobby or something I do for fun. So my point here is I'd like to see greater numbers of people to live in Futaba town. What else should I talk, make a comment? And what is your future wish? So how do I want to see greater numbers of people to come back so that the current situation, most of the houses were demolished and not many people are living. So your friends are raccoons or foxes or other wild animals. So sometimes I don't have opportunity to talk with someone else for about 1 month. So I like to really have some neighbor who I can really make the communication more casually. So that's sort of the relationship I'm hoping to build. So that what I like to see is the population, enough population for me to have such a relationship. Did I answer the question? Takagi speaking. Thank you very much. My hometown is Iwaki City, Fujino town. It's not the coastal area, but rather inner land, close to Koriyama. And at the time of the disaster, I was a sixth grader in the elementary school. So it's been a long time ago for me, but still, I have the recollection of the earthquake. And when I see video footage, that really stimulates my memory. And because of this experience, that is so paved the way for what I do for work. I work at the local quasi-government work to ensure the safety from the threats of the nuclear power. I chose this work because of this catalyst, and introduction became the long. However, the current challenges in my hometown, it's quite a difficult question. But after earthquake, about 15 years passed. And because of my work, those people who didn't experience the disaster or only experienced that so that they were very young, so they do not have the vivid recollection. So gradually, the disaster became something far away from the younger generations, and my niece doesn't have the experience. So I see some gap among the people, and forgetting such a memory is the current challenge. And currently, towards reconstruction and revitalization, progress has been made, but actual experiences, the opportunity to learn the experiences is getting less and less. Of course, initiatives for the reconstruction is important, but the experiences needs to be passed down. Experiences to be shared by everyone. That is very important for me. That's it. Thank you. Pass to next person. Abe-san, please. I am Abe. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Well, as was introduced, I am from Kanagawa Prefecture, now living in Fukusama. So my hometown is Kanagawa in my case, but still Okuma town is where I live now, and I like to talk about the Okuma town. I'd like to also briefly introduce my background. I was born in Yokohama, Kanagawa Prefecture. I wanted to work in the media industry, so I tried to cover and interviewing the people and writing the books through documentary. This is what I did in university. That was a start. And by interviewing the people before a disaster, the fruits cultivation was quite active in Okuma town, but due to the disaster, they weren't able to grow such fruits and vegetables anymore, and they had to cut down because they were exposed to radiation. And over the several years, some of the statistics and the stories were released, and currently I am starting the company to really rebuild such cultivation. And I'm still new to this town and don't have a thorough knowledge about the community. So I am not in a position to talk about the challenges faced by Okuma town, but what I see is, for me, the livelihood and the culture before disaster, under the current phase where reconstruction is being progressed, but that kind of the pre-disaster culture and the livelihood is not visible. And once the agriculture cultivation is stopped, particularly for fruits, they were not able to be grown for about 10 years, and no longer people were engaging in such a cultivation. However, there is a huge hurdles, and only the news of reconstruction we hear is the building and the completion of the big building and the beautiful road. But landscapes are now changed from pre-disaster. So pre-disaster livelihood and culture needs to be conveyed. And I came from outside, but listening to community people, maybe pre-disaster landscape carries the attractiveness of the hometown, and that should be really reflected in the planning for reconstruction. So that is something I like to also make the contribution. So I interviewed many people, and I was impressed by those people, and the thoughts of the people really impressed me a lot. And I'm hoping to convey this kind of the feeling to other people. So livelihood and culture and history before disaster should be handed over and transferred for generations to come. So that is something I'm hoping to make the contribution, and hope for a community to be able to pass this over. That is all from my side. I'm Kunihiko Kono. When you ask me question about hometown, in Owaza Akogi of Namie town for me, presently, number of the people living there is 0. And if you look broadly, in the Tsushima district, there are 12 households, 20 people living. So this question for me is quite a painful question for me. And the current challenge of the place I live, I am not actually physically living, but what's the challenge? That is decontamination and lifting of the evacuation order. And what do I wish to see in the future? Just one person alone, you cannot realize this. So this should be positioned as the national project. And when national project is to be implemented, specific designated reconstruction district has 12 household, 20 people, but this has a condition of less than 20 sievert meters, and 1 millisievert is kept for other areas, but the Fukushima prefectural people have to accept 20 millisievert. And I want to see the decontamination of my hometown and lifting of the evacuation order. The condition should be set at less than 1 millisievert. That is all I'd like to mention.
Thank you very much. Nishijima-san, please. Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity. I came from Tomika town. My name is Kaori Nishijima. So I am from Saitama Prefecture originally, but from before the earthquake, I was interested in how the high-level radioactive waste was going to be handled. And actually, I was studying that as part of sociology, but during the time of earthquake, it was quite shocking, and that's why I decided to come and come to Fukushima many times. And my husband have the same sense of mission as well. So we respect the organic farmers, and how can they restore and revitalize in this area? So actually, we are working in. I am working in as a secretariat in the of the Furusato Museum at the moment, and there are so many challenges regarding this land. But what I often consider is, and as Sakakibara-san has mentioned in his comment, there's about 200 people in Futaba town, and there are people who are returning, maybe 1/4. So the people who return maybe 300 or so. So it is like several percentage of the original population. And what this is impacting is there are so many people who are migrating, and in the past several years, the government's policy actually is shifting from the policies focusing on the people who are returning, but to people who are migrating. So there are people with children as well. So there are some people who are coming to this location without really being aware of the pains that was felt by this people who are living here. And sometimes I feel that they are really not being well protected against radioactive substance as well. So I think that the uniqueness of this town is now becoming more and more forgotten. And the future of the town actually will be impacted by the policy of the government. And so how are we going to move forward? And there are some things that the citizens are not really participating as they would like to. And the people who are living here does not really understand the pains that we have went through. So this is related to the decommissioning as well. So I was wondering how people can decide the precious future of this country. So regarding the Kashiwazaki Career nuclear power plant, that they're going to start operating again. So I am really suspicious whether they are really learning from the lessons in the past. So there are so many things that was lost that we cannot really purchase with money. But the TIPCO who had is going to operate the nuclear power plant again, although they went through this accident. So there are some challenges that I have mentioned before, and this is related with the start of the operation of the nuclear power plant as well. So I'm really worried about this. I don't really know what should happen going forward. So in this session, I would like to consider about this. Thank you. So my name is Nomura Kimura from Okuma Town, and my hometown is district called Kumagawa, which is at the coastal area of Okuma Town. So there was tsunami, and I have also experienced the nuclear accident as well. So we have been designated as the is in the area of the interim storage facility. So I think we should think about the contamination level. And I think this is maybe something that it should be considered nationwide. The landowners are committed to coming back at 2045, but actually 80% of them has been selling their land. And actually this is a place where people cannot live. So there are some areas where you can feel the culture or the lifestyle of the people living there before the earthquake, and you can see the damage caused by the tsunami as well, and you can see the impact of the nuclear accident. So I think going forward, the value will increase. And I was listening to what Abe-san was saying, and actually he was saying that it may be disappearing, but this is something that we should intentionally retain. So by having the storytelling through the field work, there are so many things that becomes more compelling due to what is being told as a story. So there are some things that there is many other areas as well, but there is not many areas where it is just left as it is. So maybe we can just make this a national park. In 2045, the interim storage facility will be removed, but maybe we should keep this. And this is an area that maybe even after 2045, they would not be coming back. So there are some people who are renting the land, but the generations are changing. So there may be no one coming back. So maybe people will start talking about having an industrial park. I think that should not be what we should do. That is something, this should be an area where people can learn about the earthquake and the disaster and about the contamination level. The final area for the processing is not decided yet. And there are maybe some people who are opposing this, so there may be separation of the people. So I think there's not many landlords who are thinking that way, but maybe Okuma Town can act as the final storage facility. But we should try to make use of it and try to become a place where people can learn and people can learn about the sacrifices that we had to pay. So this is maybe sound like a dream, but I think this will actually improve the value of my hometown. So my name is Amy Ishida. So I live in Iwaki City at the moment. So I originally come from Futaba Town. So it's a mountainous area called Terasawa that I am from. And so actually, because there's an intern in the Futaba Town, and as this is a prefectural road, we were told that our house will be demolished. So actually, this is our area used to be an area that is difficult to return, but now with this highway, because of the road building, our house is going to be demolished, and we have been living there, 9 of us, together with our grandchildren, and with my son and his wife, and my husband and I. So there were monkeys coming in, and then there are wild pig boars coming in. So we would not be able to construct such a house now. So it was like 8 years since we constructed the house, but we were forced to evacuate in just 8 years, and we had to we cannot live together with the grandchildren because it's very difficult to find a house where 9 people can live together. So that's why we decided to live apart from our son's family. So this is regret that I have.
Sorry, I am originally from Koriyama City of Fukushima Prefecture, but I live in Kawamata City. My name is Washizu. But during that time, after the marriage, I temporarily lived in Shizuoka with my husband. But we migrated to Kawamata town, and I'm now belonging to the Kawamata Town Regional Revitalization Corporation. When I was living in Koriyama City, the earthquake struck. So I was affected by the earthquake, and also I experienced the fear of radiation. So that's why I really wanted to join this activity of revitalization of Kawamata town to support the reconstruction. Kawamata town is a very unique town because some of the Kawamata town is designated as a evacuation um, zone. So that really divided the town. So, for example, Yamakiya district was included within the evacuation zone, so people had to evacuate. Even though we are all residents of Kawamata town, because some area of Kawamata town was designated as an evacuation zone, I was under evacuation order. It feels like we are divided. And that division is thinning the connection as a community, and that is the challenge that we have to overcome. So when there is a town event or Yamakiya area district organize an event, I think being able to organize such events is a bliss, is very fortunate. However, because we are kind of divided, that Yamakiya district, uh, in order to get there, we have to climb up the mountain. And even if by driving, it only takes about 12 minutes to go up and down the mountain to get to Yamakiya area. But not many people think about taking that trouble to visit Yamakiya district. So it feels very kind of strange for me that the Kawamata town is so divided that there are not much interaction between Yamakiya area and the rest of the town. So this is a challenge, the thinning a connection, the division of the community. So how should we address this? When it comes to Yamakiya district, one thing that we are very concerned is the aging of the population. Recently, when I spoke to residents of Yamakiya district, they said that because they do not have any cards, they lost all the accessibility. They can't really go anywhere. And also, they feel kind of on they feel it's such a onerous work to actually even leave the house and visit somewhere. So I'm thinking that how we can encourage those senior citizens to go outside. But within the Kaumata town, there are young people living as well. So when we organize some activities in Yamakiya district, we try to reach out to those young people who are living other parts of the Kaumata town. And quite a few people within the Kawamata town actually do not know much about Yamakiya district. And also within the Fukushima prefecture citizens, there are quite a few who do not even know about Yamakiya district. Therefore, we are working very hard to sort of make the attractiveness of Yamakiya district more visible. And within the Kawamata town, we are seeing an increasing number of people who are joining this kind of activities to promote the area. So that's all from me. Thank you very much. I think you have actually spoken shorter than I thought. Maybe rather than 2 rounds of a speech, you may be asked to talk the third round. I mean, we're not going to finish this session just because you finished talking after 2 rounds. Now, so Furusato, the hometown, and the place that you live is that I wrote is how I expressed this question. However, people have a different background. So Sakakibara-san, you came back, you are returnee, and Abe-san, you migrated, or some of you actually are still evacuees living outside. So here we talk about the hometown, but sometimes the place you live to you may not feel like a hometown. So it was a struggle for me to how I describe this. How should I describe your connection with the land, your connection with Hamadori? So that's why I included the place to live in addition to hometown. So as we went around the first round, went through the first round, what struck me was that it's been nearly 15 years since the accident. But I feel that many of you commonly feel that the passing on the memory of the experience is not happening. Also, another thing is that, as you mentioned in the morning, the culture before the accident. So as I said in the morning, if you come to this venue, this area is very different from the before the accident. It's completely different from before the earthquake and accident. It makes it even more difficult to really pass on the culture and the history uh, of the area before the place before the earthquake. And in the morning, we watched the video presentation by the Ingerson of Norway, and she is talked about the tradition and identity. And she also said that the land are part of her identity, their identity, and when it is deeply damaged, then this is the matter of dignity. So that's what she said. So it's not only about, okay, landscape changed, or we talk about the reconstruction, making advance, and that also struck my chord. So the landscape or the scenery change. However, it's not only about, okay, it's been reconstructed. It's not the end. In the process of reconstruction, many things are left behind, many things are left, and also it altered your identity. So maybe the visible things that are visible may be clean and neat, but maybe we are missing so many things by just looking at how it appears today.
So in the second round, I would like to ask everybody to give us some comments regarding what you have felt, listen to other people's comments. So the time that you spent for your comments was shorter than we have expected. So please try to mention your comments and how you felt. If you can talk about how you felt, listen to other people's comments. That would be appreciated. Regarding what kind of actions that can be taken, I think that can go for the third round. So if you can start, Sakakibara-san. So this is the second session. If I am told to speak without any theme, I can talk for maybe half a day or one day even. But if you are given a theme, then I feel at loss, wondering what I should talk about. So I hope you would understand. So listen to other people's comments. What I felt was that there are 8 people who are giving comments, including myself, and people have some dissatisfactions or feeling there are challenges. And I think it was clear for me as well. But actually, I was listening to other people speak, and I was really understood what they were saying. So in Tsushima district, there are some area you cannot return because the evacuation order is not lifted, and so and sometimes the area becomes part of the interim storage facility, so you cannot go return even if you want to. And in my case, I went back to Futaba town, but there are not many people who are coming back. So actually, they cannot come back because there's no stores or shopping or medical institutions. So, and actually, the medical institutions or the stores, because there are not many people, so they cannot create such institutions. So I sort of wonder why I came back to Futaba. And actually, for me, even if it is very inconvenient for shopping, this is my town. I liked my town. And before I came to this place, there are some weeds or the trees that had been cut down. And the trees that were cut down, we actually cut it in smaller pieces so that we can use them at the fireplace. I was wondering if there's any good way to use it. And I thought if we make some furnace to cook pizza, then maybe we can cook pizza with these wood. And even if when there is no stores, I can enjoy myself. So that's the reason why I came back to Futaba town, and I am enjoying my life. So actually, the government, if they can listen to our voices and do something about it, that would be the best. But we cannot wait until they respond. If we wait, then we will reach the end of our lives. So even if it is just myself, it is okay if I can enjoy it. And if I enjoy it, then maybe there will be more people, 1 more, 2 more, 3 more. And if there are so many people living in the town, then we can start communicating with each other. So let's start small. So I think what I am doing at the moment is not a mistake, and I really felt that. And in Tsushima district or Kuma town, there are some things you cannot do by yourself, but in our case, I can do anything after we return. So actually, maybe I was lucky, although I am unlucky. So I think I am really enjoying my life. I think that's the current situation. That is what I felt. So I'm sorry, maybe it was a bit confusing. No, that's not, it's not confusing. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Okay, so I actually was thinking, and maybe it is not organized as much as I want to, but listening to all your comments and when you think about the reconstruction, tsunami has taken away the buildings. So the areas where we have new buildings is actually to be direct. There's nothing we can do about it. But on the other hand, I feel it is very important that we keep the town, the situation of the town before the earthquake. I mean, actually, I'm now becoming used to this new scenery. And actually, I was quite shocked. So in Iwaki City, Onahama or Homa were the areas that was damaged by tsunami. But it's more than 10 years now. So in Onahama, there is Ion Mall Onahama. There's a very big building there. But if somebody asks me what was there before this building, actually I cannot really remember. So those buildings or the physical sort of objects, actually my memory is really impacted by those actual physical objects. And that was what I felt listening to other people speaking. So when we think about reconstruction and when we think about our lives and the future of Fukushima, maybe that is something that we need to take into account. So I'm sorry, my ideas are not organized maybe, but that is how I feel. Thank you. So I was listening to all the people's comment in the first round, and actually this is something that I have been thinking about from before. But in this Fukushima area, there is reconstruction and decommissioning. So there are two major projects, and the decommissioning includes the interim storage facility as well. So how we are going to sort of complement to the accident that had occurred, and also we need to think about reconstruction to newly build the living for the people who are living here. So there are two directions, and it is sort of like separated. So when we have these new large buildings or new houses, then this will be reconstruction, and there are some people who feel it is attractive and is coming to live in the Fukushima. But as Nishijima-san had mentioned, how much does the people who come here after the earthquake or the really understands all the damages that was caused at the time? So I think I need to study more, and so I would like to have the people who visit here understand the attractiveness of this location, not just in terms of reconstruction. And also, I would like them to understand the part related to decommissioning. So I think structurally, there is this kind of a structure that inhibits people to really understand that. It's becoming more sort of invisible. So I think there is these promotions, and the promotion tend to sort of make those damages from the disaster more invisible. So they are trying to increase the number of migrants by doing this, I think.
Audio has stopped. Interpreter is not receiving audio from the main line. We are unable to translate because we cannot hear audio. Audio not coming in. This is Kono. As listening to other people, what impression do I have? Now, the main policy has shifted to attracting the immigrants or relocators. With the longer span of time, certainly during the Edo period, there was a policy of immigration. For example, the Great Famine of Tenmei era, many farmers died in mass numbers, and from Hokuriku northern area, many people were sent to revitalize the Soma clan. However, back then, with the natural disaster, but this time, even though decontamination took place. I think the situation is different. And with Kashiwazaki Karima, there were also other areas giving some acceptance to the recommissioning of the power plant. However, we had the greater number of the toll, indirect toll than a direct toll, and whether the lessons learned can be utilized effectively. And in Hokkaido, they may experience the same feelings that we have undergo, and I hope they do not experience that. And there were also comments about the decontaminations. And maybe Kimura-san made a comment to consider this as the opportunity rather than the pain point. And how to retain evacuated, it's very difficult to collect those people. And however, there were certain areas banning the entry of the female, so women weren't able to participate in a dance in the traditional culture. However, female students of a certain university now are receiving handover of such culture, and maybe we could allow such a modern adoption. And other people talked about the Yamakiya. Yamakiya district and the Tsushima district belong to the same Abukuma mountain area. On the western side is Yamakiya, and eastern side is Tsushima district. And in between, there are watershed called Mizusakai. So this place name is actually watershed related. And people in Tsushima and people in Yamakiya had some exchange and also visit each other through marriage. So maybe compared to Machiuchi in Kawamata, Tsushima may have a closer exchange. And looking back, Yamakiya used to be a Adachi clan. So, and Kawamoto town was born out of the merger of the districts. Therefore, exchange in the same town doesn't happen. Maybe we could think about merging the two districts together, because we can disregard the administrative boundary. If they are close physically, they could be belonging to the same family, extended family. And earlier I heard to Miss, I am turning 67 years old this year. And with this accident, my 67 years life may be rejected. But moving to Tsushima and looking back our family tree, I can go back 20 generations. Then it's like 1300 AD. So my family has a 700-year history. But I forgot to mention that my 700-year history of my ancestor was also rejected because of this accident and related matters. That is all. I am Nishijima. I'm impressed that you can really go back your family tree 20 generations. Well, I am finally getting more relaxed and talk about positive things. In the area, we may be losing the community sovereignty, but together with my husband, we wanted to relocate to Tomioka town because we wanted to establish ourselves in the initiatives that is community established in Tomioka town. That was the difficult to return area, but the evacuation order was lifted in 2017, and the culture should be maintained by local community people. And they were also accepting the relocators. And the land pilot, the plowed by farmers, and the livelihood of the community by watching such activities closely. And I realized that we shouldn't we shouldn't criticize from cities like Tokyo, but I just wanted to be stand beside the community. So there is a big national trend. Sometimes you need to really make the challenge against such a big wave, but the community livelihood needs to be continued by overcoming such a social tide. And the people gathered here are also having their thoughts towards that end. I have 2 kids, 7 years and 3 years. And I like to really have my children meet all of the people who gathered here. That is my way of confronting what happened after the accident. And this is also one of the ways to hand over these experiences. So seeing a picture is better than listening. So you can really communicate it. And what was I? So because of that, I am decided to live here. And specifically, what kind of the actions could we take? Ultimately, to build a close relationship, knowing each other deeply. For example, FOE Japan also carry out a certain project. The employment project, and the people who weren't able to evacuate to leave 1 week or 2 weeks by traveling so that they can protect themselves from the impact of exposure. But currently, there is almost no needs in Hamadori district for that. So people participating from Hamadori is only my family. But by going there, you can also know the situation back then. Some people were able to evacuate by taking their children together, and I was able to see their hardships and the difficulties. And even with 14 years since then, I felt sympathy because of the mother with kids. And by meeting those people, the parents with children, when they were affected by disaster, what are the things they have to undergo? I was able to easily imagine that. Therefore, so I can easily imagine the situation we are in the same boat. So we hope to see a greater opportunity for that, and relocated people remain divided. Rather than that, maybe the opportunity to have a candid discussion should be increased. I think that is an important policy, and we can make the contribution for better community building. So that is what I like to see the increased number of such people. And also I was able to have an opportunity to talk about decommissioning. That is the case, and also creating the venue for dialogues such as this. Sorry, I just losing my point, and this is all from me.
So this is Kimura. Everything you said is something that I can agree to. Bepan said that we talk a lot about reconstruction, but not many people know much about decommissioning. Also, there was remarks about how difficult it is to pass all the memory and tradition to the next generation. And this is how I feel on a day-to-day basis as well. Reconstruction is very important. Certainly, we have to try to reconstruct the area. However, if we just focus too much on that, then we communicate so much less about the sacrifice that we made and we experienced, which is a very important lesson to be learned. We need to send the messages to remind people that we would never, we, sh- we must prevent recurrence of this kind of accident. And we should not try to return to nuclear energy. But I think for government, it is a very difficult message to convey. Therefore, I think the citizens need to take up a role of spreading that message. Otherwise, all the suffering, the experience that we endured will go wasted. And certainly, we have to involve the government as well. But the next generation in the society need to learn from this experience. Especially, I think this is true to Okuma. For example, Okuma town, there is no memorial place. We could all see the so-called light of hope, but that light of hope is remain dark during the daytime. 30 years ago, Japan suffered Hanshin Awaji great earthquake, and after that, in Kobe Higashi Amusement Park, they created this light of hope. And that was also introduced to Tohoku and to Okuma. But in Kobe, that light of hope is a light throughout 24 hours a day. However, in Okuma, this light of hope is switched off during the daytime because Okuma town wants to achieve, the zero carbon emission. So the town council decided that this light of hope cannot be lighted during the daytime because that would emit the CO2. However, we should preserve the memory. And it sounds like a joke, but I truly hope that the council people would take heed on my opinion. But this really shows the current status of Fukushima. Certainly, Fukushima needs to reconstruct, but we also need to pay attention to very important messages. As I was listening to Kono-san's Akogi district presentation, I also felt that, I should have really collected all the photos of my hometown when everyone is still energetic because everyone is aging and making, such decision is, I think it's great that people in Akogi decided to put together all the records. The hometown that I lived, it is also aging. It was also aging. However, we were very united as a community during the summer. We would perform drums and we would celebrate senior citizens during the autumn. Also, farmers would produce good agricultural products. So there were so many good things about my hometown, and it is a shame that we did not, collect all the memories and make it in a tangible record book. Now I only have a once a year to meet up with the people from my hometown, but hopefully we can look back upon our memory. And Nishijima-san talked about the rad waste. I know that no one wants to have a final disposal facility in their neighborhood. Very, very small portion of the removed soil was transported to the urban area. But still, there was such a reaction, harsh reaction from the urban area. And I'm quite certain that no one wants the contaminated, removed soil. Those who live in the urban areas, the government is saying that we need to recycle those removed soil. However, only very, very small portion of the removed soil through the decontamination were transported to the Tokyo, and a very little, very, very small portion was used in the flower bed of the central government building premises, but that was extensively covered by the media and people criticized of such move. And I was very perplexed by that reaction. And I'm sure that you agree to me. In Hokuriku, in Oita, well, those areas suffered disasters such as massive fire or earthquake. When such disaster, strike, we hear about how we can facilitate communication within the neighborhood. And such networking effort should have been made before the nuclear accident in Fukushima. Establishing the network to have a good communication with neighborhood, it's very difficult if you need to evacuate and start living in a new land. I relocated 5 times, and it's been 5 and 6 years since I started living in the place I currently live now. First, I was looking for a house that meet my criteria. And the area I moved in, I think people in the neighborhood are very nice. However, in many cases, I think people do not communicate closely with your neighbors. Maybe you would greet to each other, but you will not engage in in-depth discussion. So I think there should be a policy to facilitate and promote uh, communication, deep communication within the community. And also, one thing I would like to say is that there are so many people who are suffering mentally because I believe, because I think that is because of the lack of interaction with others. If you can confine your like problem with others, that really ease the burden upon psychological burden upon you. But not having anyone to talk to takes a toll on your mental health. Thank you for this opportunity again. So my response to others' remarks, I spend a lot of my time in Kawamata town. In the past 12 months or so, I started to have more and increasing more and more relationship with the people in Okuma town. And time to time, I feel Kawamata town is very fortunate. Earlier talked about how Kawamata town was divided. However, still, even though the number of returnees to Kawamata town is small, but I also uh, I feel that it is quite fortunate that those who come back are living quite happily, even though there are some restrictions on the shipment of the agricultural produce, and also there are a little bit of radiation issues. But if you look at the entire Hamadori area, I feel there are bigger challenges faced by other communities. Therefore, the fact that I live in Kawamata town now and I have a house that I can live in, or there's a land that you can build a house, I think that is quite fortunate. However, the Kawamata town or the people in Yamakia district, I feel that they all appreciate that how fortunate they are that they could return to Kawamata town, their hometown, and that they can communicate with those in the neighborhood. So I very often hear that people are talking like that. So as I was listening to your stories, that you say that you can't really go back to your hometown and you live outside your hometown. And as for me, listening to your experiences, listening to your situation, uh, s- shocks me. Of course, I read all the media reports, but sometimes those media reports feel quite artificial. So I don't really, um, try to get a lot of information from media reports, but having this real interaction, the direct interaction with you to listen to the current status that you're in and how things are happening, I think that's very valuable because no one is editing your comments. I could hear you directly. So once again, the people in Kaumata, I think to them, I feel that I should communicate to them that how lucky we are. And then I'm sure that the Yamakia people will say, I know that we are very fortunate, and they may scold me for that. Have, but as Kono-san suggested, the administration or the rather than thinking about what the administration can do for us, and but we should think about the interaction within the neighborhood community, such as Nihonmatsu, and hopefully that those communities can join hands in implementing various activities. And also, I ask the people who are living outside the Kamata town to participate in our events, and hopefully I can expand our network.
Thank you very much. So to be specific, what kind of action is possible? I think some of you have already given an answer to this question, but there are some people who have not answered yet. We don't have much time left, but maybe 1 minute per person. Can you make a comment regarding what you would like to do moving forward? What kind of action would be possible for you to take? So Sakakibara-san, please. To be the concrete actions. Well, the first one to speak is very difficult. Well, regarding the concrete action, for example, regarding what? So it's okay if you can talk about what you're currently doing. That's okay, right? So what I am currently doing is some things that I enjoy myself. So it's not about others, but actually I enjoy a little bit of gardening and growing plants, or do have a barbecue, or to vase under sunbathing, or looking at the video site and then just process it, and then or maybe just drink coffee by making fire. So I enjoy my life together with the nature. That's all. Okay, so I thought Sakakiba-san's lifestyle is very attractive, and I would like to live in such a way as well. But it's very difficult for me to do that at the moment. So regarding the concrete actions, so when we talk about actions in this type of meetings, we tend to talk about something quite a large scale. But when I look back and think about when I was a junior high school student, and when I think about the earthquake and the disaster, I would like to talk about it once again. So actually during the break, I talked with Sakakibara-san, and during the disaster, the people from Okuma town or Tomioka town came over to Iwaki City, and because they evacuated. And I thought maybe I should not ask such questions. I should not touch on that topic. So I didn't really ask about the situation they were in. So actually, this may be the first time for me to really consider and understand what the situation was at that time. So going forward, maybe I can talk with my friends and ask them about this. So maybe this is a small step, but maybe we can start from there. And then if we can just start doing that, then we will be able to share. So that's something I would like to do. Thank you. Well, listening to your comments, so Sakakibara-san was saying that he is enjoying his life, and I thought that is really attractive. So I would like to live in such a way as well. But I think there are some structural issues. So if you criticize or if you complain, would somebody else change things, or will the government change? Actually, this is not something that you people can change easily or can find a solution for easily. So there are some things that I can do by myself, and of course there are some things that the nation or the government have to do. But I think we are in the private sector, so what we can do in this private sector, what kind of impact we can give to the community, I think that's some things that we continuously need to consider. And Kon-san saying that about the government. So it's not just about the government. So I think it's more maybe about yourself. You should think about what you can do in your daily lives. And if there's something we can do, you should try and make efforts. And in my case, it's about growing QB. So I would like to try my best. Thank you. Okay, so Kono speaking. I don't know whether it is possible or not, but I have a dream. In the morning, a 188-page record paper. I have mentioned about this in the morning, and I would like to make a sequel to this record paper. So there's no point living in a Kogi so for the past 15 years. So there's nothing new in terms of history that is recorded, but I would like to make a record of such new history. So that's all. Thank you. Well, this is a difficult question. So I already mentioned some of the things that I'd like to do, but actually I am living in Yonamori, which is difficult to return zone. And I am growing soybeans from this year, and it's very difficult to grow a plant. So I thought it is very difficult to prepare the soil that would be suitable for farming. So I think I would like to grow some plants every year, and it's something that I would like to do repeatedly. So it's like taking one step at a time. So thank you very much. So I think other people are saying about this as well, but the government or the prefecture, what they can do is not the focus, but I think we should focus on what we can do, what we would like to do, and I think we should speak up and tell the government about this, so that we can give positive impact. So what is actually displayed outside, but there's a display regarding the elementary school that is located in the area for the interim storage facility. So how are we going to preserve this? And all the students who used to go to the elementary school is working together with me. So the government or the consultants from the Tokyo actually is making the plans for the new city or the new town. But I think we should try to think of creating something that will be ideal for the people who actually live here, the residents. So I think that is maybe symbolized by this Okumamachi elementary school because there is this is a place where we can see the history. So it will show the history after the Meiji era, and also to show the damage caused by the tsunami or the nuclear accident. So I hope that we can utilize this from the citizen side and try to disseminate the information. Thank you very much. So I actually make Daruma dolls. So that's why I would like to find a successor. So I hope that young people will come in, and people who have disability as well. I would warmly accept them. So I hope I can find a successor to what I do. So regarding the concrete action, and actually this is related with myself as well. So I think my term is only 9 months to go, and I think actually from 1 year ago, I was thinking about what I can do, and what I felt is that, and I think somebody else had mentioned this as well, it's not about doing something of a large scale, but it's more about what I can do as an individual, and that is what I would like to focus. So Yamakiwa district or the people in the town, I would like to create this relationship one-to-one. And that is something I would like to focus on. And that is how I have proceeded with my activity. And that has actually enlarged the circle. And I was able to establish a trust relationship. And that was what I realized in the past 1 year or so. And actually, I was able to increase the number of connections with so many people. So I think what is important is what kind of life I would like to live, what I would like to focus on. So by focusing on such things, I think many things will start moving. So it may be a small step, but there is some things that I can disseminate and communicate from my activity. And I would like to continue doing this going forward. So that may be the thing I would like to do going forward. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very deep topics were covered by everyone, and we are just on time. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Listening to everyone, not only Hamadori area, but the reconstruction policy itself. This is significantly dependent on the national policy, and that is also affecting on all the people who are living here. Given such circumstances, what do we want to do? Everyone must live regardless of the national policy. Just swinged by national policy that is not beneficial for your own livelihood. And for sure, at our individual level, we believe that we will also see some improvement, but we are also affected by government policy, national government policy. So I believe that the national government people may not realize that what they do has a direct impact on the people who, like us, who are living in this area. But sometimes that policy affects unexpectedly negative way, but unless we raise our voice, the people at the national government may not realize at all. So while we have to do what we can do, and at the same time, we have to also approach the national government as well as local municipalities or prefectural government, what is the actual situation we are confronted with. And by doing so, both for the community and for the administrative policy, the ideal way is we can adjust the direction of the policy to a better direction. Therefore, our organization, NPO, we are also trying to continue and convey the voices of the people to the government. Now we are going to take a half an hour break, and after the break we are also set the time for observers to speak up. This is Uesaka speaking, not directly related to dialogue, but I heard about the presentation this morning, and if there is a detector called which makes the radiation visible to our eyes, and actually this detector, alpha line detector, is owned by the neighboring building JA. So I visited the JA, and they were only open at 4 p.m. today, but it is beautiful and interesting. I just wanted to share this information. Well, thank you very much. During the break, we have half an hour, and we also prepared some snacks and drinks. Chocolate is also available. This is the souvenir from France, so please enjoy the chocolate. There is still leftover chocolate, so please enjoy the chocolate from France. And let's resume half an hour later, starting from 3:30.